Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya
Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya
Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Nath Narayan Vasudeva
Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva
Vidhumat Swami Saka Hamari Swami Saka Hamari Nath Narayan Vasudeva
Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Govinda Gopala Murali Manohar Nandlala Govinda Gopala Murali Manohar
Nandlala
Murali Manohar Nandlala
Murali Manohar Nandlala
Murali Manohar Nandlala Murali Manohar
Nandlala
Govinda Gopala Murali Manohar Nandlala
Govinda गोपाल राधे
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya
Om Namah Shivaya, bolo Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya bolo Om Namah Shivaya
Radhe Radhe Govind Gopal Radhe.
राधे राधे गोविंद गोपाल राधे
Radhe Radhe Govind Gopal Radhe.
श्रीमन नारायण नारायण हरि हरि
नारायण नारायण हरि हरि
ओ श्रीमन नारायण नारायण हरि हरि
Narayan Narayan Hari Hari.
ओ जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि
Narayan Hari Hari.
ओ तेरी लीला तेरी लीला है प्रभु न्यारी न्यारी हरि हरि
Sriman Narayan Narayan Hari Hari. Swami Narayan Narayan Hari Hari.
हरि ओम नमो नारायण ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण हरि ओम नमो नारायण
Sriman Narayan Narayan Hari Hari.
ओ श्रीमन नारायण नारायण हरि हरि श्रीमन नारायण
Narayan Hari Hari. Narayan Narayan Narayan.
ओ श्रीमन नारायण नारायण नारायण
Narayan Narayan
Nice to see you
Narayan.
too.
ओ श्रीमन नारायण नारायण नारायण
Lakshmi Narayan Narayan Narayan.
ओ लक्ष्मी नारायण नारायण नारायण
Sriman Narayan Narayan Narayan.
We welcome you to our puja this morning, and we hope that you will enjoy this morning's prayers with us as we start. Next Saturday is a very special day. It's Akshay Tritiya, at which we do Havan, etc. for that day up there. Is there a pandit who can go and sit there, or they're all busy in the kitchen? Oh. Om Asangoham 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 Punaha Punaha Satchidanandarupoham Ahameva Havavyayah
असंगोहम 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 पुनः पुनः सच्चिदानंद रूपोहम अहमेवाहमव्ययः.
We pray and ask that may the Lord allow us to be unattached to this material world that we live in. Give us peace, give us quietude, and give us calmness. Asangoham, 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 Punaha Punaha, Satchidananda Rupoham, Ahameva Havavyayam.
Asangoham,
असंगोहम असंगोहम पुनः पुनः सच्चिदानंद रूपोहम अहमेवा अमव्यय
न धर्मनिष्ठोऽस्मि न च आत्मवेदी न भक्तिमान् त्वचरणारविन्दे अकिञ्च अनन्या गतिशरण्या त्वत्पादमूलम् त्वत्पादमूलौ शरणौ प्रपद्ये गुरुसूर्यः चन्द्रगुरुः
गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है
गुरु है पूर्ण प्रकाश
गुरु है पूर्ण प्रकाश
गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है
गुरु सूर्य है
चंद्र गुरु है
गुरु है पूर्ण प्रकाश
गुरु है पूर्ण प्रकाश
गुरु के चरणों में मिलता है गुरु के चरणों में मिलता है तन मन को उल्लास
गुरु सूर्य है
चंद्र गुरु है गुरु है पूर्ण प्रकाश
गुरुर ब्रह्मा गुरुर विष्णु गुरुर्देव महेश्वरः गुरुर साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः
गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु है पूर्ण प्रकाश
शाताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृदय ज्ञानगम्यं वन्दे भयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्
गुरु सूर्य है, चंद्र गुरु है, गुरु है पूर्ण प्रकाश।
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय।
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय।
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय।
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय।
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय
ओहो
जय।
राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय
राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय।
ओ राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय
हो राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय।
कोई कहे गोविंद कोई गोपाला
कोई कहे गोविंद कोई गोपाला।
कोई कहे गोविंद कोई गोपाला
कोई कहे गोविंद कोई गोपाला।
मैं तो कहूँ सावरिया बासुरिया वाला
मैं तो कहूँ सावरिया बांसुरिया वाला।
मैं तो कहूँ सावरिया बासुरिया वाला
मैं तो कहूँ सावरिया बांसुरिया वाला।
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय।
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय।
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय
We must live in this world without giving stress to the Lord. We always have some stress-related topic that we put upon the Lord's head. We must not give him any problems. We must enjoy the good things that he has given us. And from that enjoyment, we get our own contentment without giving him stress. So, I tell you a story. You want to hear a story? I told this before. Tulsidas was living on the hut of the, in a little hut on the banks of the Saryu. Saryu is a river. And there, some people decided that they must go and rob this hut because they see a lot of people coming to the hut and bringing fruits and bringing clothes. Tulsidas was a renunciate. He had renounced everything. So these robbers came out at 2 o'clock in the morning to rob his hut. But when they came, they saw two fellows, one dark and one fair, with bow and arrow going around the hut. So they thought that was strange. That time in the morning, Tulsidas is a sant, he's a saint, he doesn't have money. How can he employ two watchmen? So what they did? They came the next night. When they came the next night, they saw the two fellas again. Then next morning, they went and fell at the feet of Tulsidas. Why would they fall at the feet of Tulsidas? I'll tell you why. They fell at the feet of Tulsidas and told Tulsidas, we came to rob you twice. And twice we saw two young men with bows and arrows going around your hut. And Tulsidas started to cry because he said, these are no other than my Prabhu, Ram and Lakshman. So he said, this is the important point, he said in his mind, you mean these few little things I have in this hut, books and one or two things I have, has given the Lord etna kashdiya. So much trouble I've given the Lord that he had to come and guard my hut. I'm going to take all these things and give it away. So he called the villagers, gave away everything. Why? Because he says, I don't want to be a burden unto the Lord. So how come these robbers were transformed? The robbers were transformed because they had the darshan of Ram and Lakshman. Then the evil mind became transformed, and that is why they went to Tulsidas. So Bhagavan Krishna says in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, I have told you about this before, but the last part of that chapter 9, verse 22, it says, Teshang nitya bhyuktanam yogak chemam yahamyaham. Yahamyaham means what? You mean yogak chemam, protection, wahamyaham. Wahamyaham. Wahamyaham means I will carry your burden for you. Not only will I protect you, not only will I protect what you have, but any burden that you have, I will carry it for you. But we don't want to give the Lord a burden. Although he has said in this chapter that I will protect what you have and all your burden that you have on your shoulders. Once you believe in me, I will take it and I will make sure that these burdens does not wear you down. This is the promise that Bhagavan Krishna made to his devotees. And this is the reason why we observe these days, like what is coming up on Saturday, is called Akshay Tritiya. The third day of the month of Vaisakh, is it? Vaisakh Mas, the third day is called Akshay Tritiya. It's called Akshay. Akshay means never, what? Never ending. Never, it can never be done. It was a day like that day when Durvasa had come to the hut of Draupadi and asked for food, and she had a vessel called Akshay Patra. And it said, no matter how many people come to your place, I will make sure when you cook in this, it will satisfy everyone. But you all know the story. Durvasa knew he wanted to give a shrap to the Pandavas because Duryodhana fed him. So he came after the meal was over. After the meal was over, then this pot can't do that work anymore because only once can cook. And then Durvasa came with 1,000 people, went to the banks of the river on a day like that, Akshay Tritiya. And he told Draupadi, I'm going to the banks, I'll bathe with my people and I'll come back for lunch. And then, of course, Draupadi called upon Krishna. And he said, what am I going to do now? Krishna said, go check in the pot. There has to be some food there. She said, no, I washed the pot. And when she went there, there was 1 grain of rice. I said, put it on. But what it says to us, on these days, like Akshay Tritiya and so forth, these special days, when the stars are aligned, not that all days are not special, every day is special, but these days are super special, where the stars are so aligned that when you do your bhakti, when you do any good seva, your blessings, it becomes more and more. Not only that, your mind becomes calm on days like that, on Ekadashi, or if you believe in it, on Ekadashi or Akshay Tritiya, the mind comes calm. You close your eyes, and when you close your eyes, a shanti, a peace comes within you because God is within you. And when you close your eyes, you see that God within you. And on Akshay Tritiya, we do Havan, which we are going to do on Saturday morning, because on that day, Lord Parshuram was born also, but more than that, it was given that on this day, when we started the seniors' home, we started on Akshay Tritiya day. We didn't have any money to build it. No money. We did the Havan first on Akshay Tritiya. And what Bhagavan says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. I will carry your burden. I would like to refer to you to Sundarkand, where Hanumanji had witnessed, and you all know this, he had witnessed. I'm just telling you how the Lord works. How he works in so many different ways, so many unseen ways, which we cannot fathom, and which we will never understand how he works. We will never understand. Ravan had just come to Mother Sita, and he just told her that, look, in 1 month's time, if you don't come to me, I'll chop your head off. Hanuman is seeing all this. He's in the tree and he's seeing this. And he's saying, my God, this man is going to cut off Mother Sita's head because he's cruel. While he's there, Trijita, you all know who was Trijita? Trijita was a Rakshasi in Ravan's court. She came to Mother Sita and she said in this chaupai to her,
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama,
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Sapane Badar Lanka Trijita is telling Mother Sita, Hanumanji is still there. Hanuman had not revealed himself to Mother Sita yet. Hanumanji is still there. She said, I always tell you guys, if you have anything to talk without, in front of me, you're giving signs and so forth, you does not work with me. When the cards, they don't say so, no point in giving signs. Yes. Can you hear Okar?
They can hear at the back. Here we don't hear.
Well, you can hear me.
But because no music is playing.
Well, I don't look after the mic.
I know that.
So what? But when you sit, anyhow, you always, this is very disturbing when you all are giving signs and I'm sitting. Better you get up and talk and say what's going on instead of giving signs to one another. Sorry. So, Trijita is telling Mother Sita how she dreamt a monkey is going to come and he is going to burn the whole of Lanka down. So Hanumanji is saying, how is this possible? Okay, I am here, but for me to burn Lanka down, I have to get so much rags and ghee and all these things. How will that happen? That cannot happen, he's saying in his mind. And also at the same time, Ravan is going to cut off, but Sita said in 1 month's time, or less she decided, how will all this pan out? So he said, Karaya Rudana Ganadasa Sisa Bondeta Sera Kaneta Puja Isa I saw Ravan mounted on a donkey, his head shaven, and riding towards the south. Hanumanji is perplexed. How? This is not possible. To burn Lanka down, as I said, we have to get so many things. And Ravan is so powerful, how could it be? The next chapter he says, Yei bidi soda chela dese jaye. Lanka mana ho bibhishan paaye.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Nagara piri ho Rama, Nagara piri Raghubira duhaye. Tava Prabhu Sita bole badhaye.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
So, hello? Can you hear this? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So, can you hear? You can't hear either?
The other one was better.
What?
The other mic was better.
The other one is better.
I thought Kushal is supposed to be looking after these mics for us. Anyhow, yes. So, Ravan, Trijita is telling Sita how all these things going to happen. Bibhishan is going to get the kingdom of Lanka. Hanumanji, he said, this is impossible. This is not possible. Ravana is such a great warrior, etc., etc., etc. But what the point I'm trying to make this morning is that we do not know how the Lord works for us and this whole world in his own way and his own fashion. We cannot fathom. We cannot fathom the workings of the Lord. So what happened? Hanumanji went. The people themselves brought the rags and the ghee and everything. He burned the whole Lanka down, which he thought could not be possible. With the Lord, everything is possible. And because of this, instead of us depending upon the Lord to fetch our burden, we must do our part in the world, which is to try to see how we can alleviate difficulties from people, how we can make this world a happier place. And he who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. In other words, don't depend upon the external world to make us happy. We have to be happy in ourselves. So someone asked, if everybody knows Brahman, if everybody are self-realized people, how can this world exist? The answer to that is that if everybody are self-realized, then we'll pass one another on the street smiling at one another, saying good things to one another. And what self-realized means? Self-realized means that we are one with that Lord. We are not going to burden him with anything. And that brings me to the point that when we come to pray, when we come to the Lord and we come to pray to him, we should not burden him with our shopping list. You know why? He knows everything. He knows everything you want. Everything you want, he knows. It does not mean he would not give you difficulties. Difficulties you will get. All of us will get our difficulties. Some of us will feel that all the doors are closed. There's no door that is open. But when you see all the doors are closed, there's always another door that is open. You just have to, what? Look. You just have to look. And when you look, you will see the door open. Never get depressed or feel remorse. And the secret of happiness is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy.
Less.
What does it say?
Less.
Less. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. When you can enjoy less, you are the happiest person. But when you want to seek happiness by getting this thing, getting the other thing, I must have a Rolex watch, I must have a Mercedes, I must, if the Mercedes comes, it comes. I'm not saying you shouldn't have Mercedes, of course. Have Rolls Royce if you want, but don't let it replace your peace of mind. Don't let it, because when the peace of mind is disturbed to get these things, then we lose our happiness. And we lose our touch with the Lord. And because of this, we must try to say to Prabhu, you are who? You are the Anandadatta. Hey Prabhu Anandadatta.
ज्ञान हमको दीजिए, हे प्रभु
There was a gentleman who lived in the edge of the slums of Bombay. He was a tailor. And he wanted to go to the Himalayas to become self-realized. And then while he was going, he said in his mind, how can the Himalayas be different from where I'm living? It's the same place. How can it be different? If I have to be realized, I should be realized everywhere. So he came back. And lots of saints and saints used to go to him. Remember, he was a tailor. And they asked him, you have not gone to any big ashrams and so forth. How come you realized? He says three things. My guru tells me that I am Brahman. Brahman means, see, there are three stratifications of God, let us say, in Hinduism. There is Brahman, there is Ishvara, and there is Bhagwan. This Brahman is common to all religions, whether it's Islam, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Sikhism. They all believe in the God who has no form, who has no shape. The God of Judaism, who they believe in, has no form, no shape. Allah has no form. As a matter of fact, there's no picture of Allah. There's no imagery of Allah. And there's no imagery of the God in Judaism. And Christ, when he was asked, he was says, my Father who is in heaven. He talked about his Father. So this theory where this Brahman is given by the Hindus and the Upanishad was given a long time ago, that God is formless. God is formless, and because God is formless, you can only realize him inside of you. But to help us to approach the formless Lord, he has given us all these various other forms of Ishvara, like Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Brahma, we know, is the generator. Vishnu is the operator. And Shiva is the destroyer. G-O-D. That means God. That Brahman, which has no form, no shape, that is the God of the Hindus. I have said this so many times in here, yet our people are still being confused when others are saying we are idol worshippers. We are not idol worshippers. We worship that Brahman because that Brahman is the God in reality, and that God, we can only come close to him when we see the Murti and see God through the Murti. You understand? And because of this, we pay a lot of reverence to the Murti because we see God through the Murti. Look at Balaji this morning. We bathe him, so half an hour to bathe him alone. Then we dress him up another half an hour or more. And look how beautiful he looks. And you go there, you can see the living entity of Bhagwan Vishnu there. Natase pratima aste. That Lord who is invisible, who is formless, that Lord we worship in the form of murtis, etc. And he comes to us in these various ways so that we can show our love to him. Dressing up the murti, many people I've said this many times before, I get upset because we spend so much money on flowers, which last, especially when the heat is on today, will last only for 2 days, and all the flowers are gone. Is that true? Well, we do not say how much time our heart is beating per minute, all the time, hasn't stopped yet, because you're still talking. So, and what price do we pay for this? Our heart is beating so many times. Our gut is functioning. Our brain is functioning. All these things, our kidneys are functioning, all these things are happening, and we do not even know it's happening. So we show our appreciation, we show our love for Bhagwan when we dress him up with these beautiful flowers. We do agarbatti upon him, we do deepam on him, and we offer bhog unto him, because this is the Lord who is really Brahman. And when you go in front of the Murti, you must close your eyes for a few minutes and ask for the Mother. You got the Divine Mother? May the Divine Mother sit in my heart. May Lord Shiva sit in my heart. May Balaji sit in my heart. This is the meaning of doing these prayers. Just not to look at him and appreciate him. No, you have to take him from there. You have to transport him from there right into your heart. And when you transport it into your heart, yoga chemam vahamyaham, he will take care of all your burdens. But the Jagannath Mishra, 200-300 years ago, when he saw this verse, yoga chemam vahamyaham, Lord, you carry my burdens, he took a red pen and he scratched that word out. Yoga chemam vahamyaham. And he put dadamyaham. Lord, you give to us. Dadamyaham, you give to us. You don't carry our burdens. And he, in his Gita, he scratched it. And he went to to beg for alms, for people to bring home for his wife to cook. And while she was at home, she saw a young boy came there with a huge basket of all sorts of vegetables and so. So she told the boy, we did not buy anything. He says, no, your husband sent this. He said, my husband can't send this because he has no money. And when she looked at the boy had one long cut on his face here. This is a true story. She asked the boy, who has cut you there? He said, your husband cut me there. And he said all this, groceries, etc. So she was very upset. When the husband came home, she told him that, look, you sent all this grocery. He said, I did not send any grocery. Who told? I did not send any grocery. He said, you are so cruel. You cut the boy in his face. Because he was a very realized soul, he realized immediately that because he scratched the word in the Gita, these are people who are realized, who are pure souls, that he went back, take it out, and put up Vahamyaham again. The Lord comes to us in various ways, many, many ways. And when he comes to us, he's telling us we must put our best foot forward. We must put our best foot forward in whatever we do. In whatever we do, if you don't want to do it, no problem. But if you are going to do it, put your best foot forward. Don't go halfway. Put your best foot forward. This should be our motto. This is known as the Kaizen method. You all know about the Kaizen method, right? Everybody know about the Kaizen method? I don't see much heads bobbing here. Oka, you know about the Kaizen method? Oh. The Kaizen method is a Japanese method of management. And what they say, they ask that with whatever you do, put a little extra effort. If I ask you to raise your hands, I ask you, please raise your hands. Raise your hands for me. Or I ask you, raise it a little further. So then we raise it further and further. That's the Kaizen method. He says you must do your work to the maximum of your ability. So the Japanese used this. When Hiroshima and Nagasaki was destroyed in 1945 by the big atomic bomb, Japan was reduced to rubbles. And this method is, we get around a table, And all of us will say, look, we'll do one little thing every week to improve, let us say, the office. One say, I'll wipe the desk. Another say, I'll bring the plant. Another one say, I'll water the plant. Another one say, I'll put a picture up there. Whatever the case may be, you come together and you do it together. That's called the Kaizen method. And when we can put the Kaizen method into operation, and we can have cooperation, that Japan, which was poorer than India in 1947, today Japan is in the big G7. Is that true? Japan, India is not there. Japan is in the big G7 because of the extra effort they put in everything. And whatever they do it to the best of their ability. We'll have to...
Ram Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari.
Ram Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari.
Panduranga Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare.
Panduranga Panduranga Ram Krishna Hare.
Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Vittal Vittal Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare.
Vittal Vittal Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare.
Vittal Vittal Panduranga
मैं तो शरण तिहारी। मैं अति दीन तुम्हारी शरण में, मैं अति दीन तुम्हारी शरण में, नात नदी जो बिसारी। मैं अति दीन तुम्हारी शरण में, नात नदी जो बिसारी, नात नदी जो बिसारी। ओ रसिया मैं तो शरण तिहारी। ओ रसिया मैं तो शरण तिहारी। अपनो जान तुम्हारी शरण में, अपनो जान तुम्हारी शरण में, प्रेम सखी बलिहारी। अपनो जान तुम्हारी शरण में, प्रेम सखी बलिहारी, प्रेम सखी बलिहारी। ओ रसिया मैं तो शरण तिहारी। ओ रसिया मैं तो शरण तिहारी। राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे राधे, राधे श्याम 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 राधे राधे। राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे राधे, राधे श्याम 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 राधे राधे। राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे राधे, राधे श्याम 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 राधे राधे। राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे राधे, राधे श्याम 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 राधे राधे। राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे राधे, राधे श्याम 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 राधे।
कुंज में विराजे घर श्याम राधे राधे।
निकुंज में विराजे घनश्याम राधे राधे।
निकुंज में विराजे घर श्याम राधे राधे।
निकुंज में विराजे घनश्याम राधे राधे।
श्याम राधे राधे 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 घनश्याम राधे राधे।
निकुंज में विराजे घनश्याम राधे राधे।
निकुंज में विराजे घनश्याम राधे राधे।
उनकी रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनकी रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनकी रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनकी रहमत का झूमर सजाया
रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनकी रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनके रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनकी रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
मुझको महसूस ये हो रहा है।
को महसूस ये हो रहा।
मुझको महसूस ये हो रहा है।
मुझको महसूस ये हो रहा है।
जैसे गंगा यहाँ बह रही है।
जैसे गंगा
यहाँ बह रही
ये उनके रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनकी रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनके रहमत का झूमर सजाया है।
उनकी रहमत का झूमर सजाया
Hi. So what I told you about this morning, I just want to remind you that we must not let God put our burden upon God. We pray to God without whole heart or whole mind, and we leave everything to Him. Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. He looks after everything for us. And when we come to pray, if it's 5 minutes, if it's 2 minutes, if it's 1 minute, your focus must be there. There's no point to praying for 3 hours and your mind is all over the place. It's a waste of time. You're wasting time and you're wasting God's time. So you sit and pray. You know, you go to some functions and they go on and on and on. So, he's saying, come to me with a pure heart. Niramala mala jana so mohi pawa mohi kapata chala che dada bawa.
निर्मल मन जन सो मोहि पावा मोहि कपट छल छिद्र नभावा।
You don't go and pray and say, may my neighbor's one eye become blind because then 2 of your eyes will be blind. You go and pray for Shanti more than anything else. Our prayer should be, Lord, I thank you. I thank you for allowing me to wake up this morning and look at the beautiful sun. Someone sent me a shot of a sun this morning. Beautiful, like a golden orb in the sky. I thank you. This should be our prayer, nothing else. It's difficult because when difficulty catches you, you gravitate towards that difficulty when you're praying. It's human. But then you must come back and say, you know what? I leave everything to you. Just like how Hanumanji, when he was hearing that how Lanka will be burnt by him, etc., he was thinking, this is impossible. This can't be done. With God, there is no word like what? Impossible. Everything is possible with Him. Every single thing is possible with Him. There's nothing like impossibility. And because there is no impossibility with Him, we try to say that, Lord, you know best. You give me everything. And the secret of happiness is not found in seeking more, but enjoying the capacity, but developing the capacity to enjoy less. You'll be surprised. We come from Guyana, most of us. There was no air condition in Guyana when we were young boys. Maybe your home had air condition, but our home never had air condition. And you never knew. Someone is talking in the back, can somebody tell them that they can't do that? Jagdish, instead of sitting on it, get up and tell him. Yeah, whoever it is. Yes. But when we go back to Guyana, you can't sleep on SKT condition room. Is that true?
True, true.
Yes. So because we don't know how to we don't know how to develop the capacity to enjoy less. But once we can do that, life will be beautiful. You go to an ashram, you can sleep in a kutia, you can sleep on a bed, providing it's clean. Washroom has to be good, bed has to be clean, and you're fine. So it's a very important thing to learn to enjoy less. So this morning I spoke about thanking the Lord. Don't let us burden Him. He will look after everything that we have. And next thing I told you that this Lord is Brahman. He is formless. He has no form whatsoever. And we develop the form. And we pray to that form. We do put flowers, etc. so that we can focus on Him. And focus is the most important thing. Third thing I tell you, whatever you do, do to the best of your ability. You don't have to do it, but if you take up something, do it to the best of your ability. That's why I took up this medical clinic, because I thought I was wasting time. Let me just do something. I know. That brings me to the topic of cervical cancer. That is of no interest to you, Bash, but this is. Cervical cancer is, if everybody knows what the cervix is a part of the uterus, which when a lady is pregnant, that's the part that holds the baby in there. And what is cervical cancer? Cervical cancer is when that part, as you can see, can it become bigger? Can it be enhanced?
It wouldn't fit on the page.
It's mostly commonly caused, you all have heard this term before, the human papilloma virus. Have you all heard about it? In Canada, I talked young girls were given HPV vaccines between the ages of, I can't remember what ages they were given, but they were given vaccines. And if once you get that vaccine is usually good and will protect you from a papilloma virus, which causes cancer of the cervix. But please remember, papilloma virus is not only can only cause cancer of the cervix. I can talk more about that later on. This cancer is best prevented with the HPV vaccine. But if you don't have the HPV vaccine, then you must have a pap smear every 2 years, between the ages of 21 and 65 to 70. They cut off the pap smears at about 65 to 70. If you never had any problems with the cervix before, if you have never had any problems with the cervix before, you do not need to have a pap smear at the age of 70 definitely. But if you have had a problem with the cervix before, you still have to continue to have your pap smear. What does the pap smear do? The pap smear is they liquefy some cells. You don't have to know all the details, but then they go and pick out the abnormal cells. And if the abnormal cells are picked up early, it's a medical terminology called dysplasia. It's picked up early, then it could be treated, and you'll be fine. There'll be no problem whatsoever. So, next one, human papillomavirus. This papillomavirus is not only pertaining to the cervix, it causes warts, you can see the wart on the foot there. The wart on the foot, warts anywhere, is a papillomavirus. There are hundreds of papillomavirus, and there are specific papillomaviruses for cervical cancer. And also that virus can infect your larynx and give you papillomas on your larynx, especially singers, etc. And you can get your laryngeal cord can get that virus, and the ENT doctor has to go in. So papillomavirus is not only for the cervix, skin, throat, larynx, all these places can have papillomavirus. And the definitive diagnosis, that is a big word, but it means it can be done from a smear. Next. This is telling about the different types of papillomaviruses that we have. You got another one, Prabhat? Reasons people still get cervical cancer. One, because they were not vaccinated against HPV. Now, HPV, if you never had it, when the government was giving, and you want to have it now, you got to pay for it. I don't know how much it costs, but there are 3 vaccines, and you get them at intervals. You get one at 1 month, and the first time you get it, then 2 months, then 6 months. 3 vaccines, and you have to pay for them. And if you weren't able to get routine pap smears and HPV tests, how you know that you have a cervical cancer is when you have abnormal bleeding, especially post-coital. I don't want to be much more explicit than that. Post-coital bleeding is the commonest cause, a commonest symptom of cancer of the cervix. And cancer of the cervix is not an uncommon cancer, but it can be detected early, and when it's detected early, it can be treated, and when it's treated, you can be cured of it. Stage 1 cancer is easily curable, even which is confined to the cervix. Sometimes you got to do surgery, you got to do what they call a hysterectomy, total hysterectomy, take out the cervix and the uterus. But when it goes beyond the cervix, cancer of the cervix, when it goes beyond the cervix, is very detrimental. It's very difficult to treat. Perron, is it Perron? The Evita Perron, she died from cancer of the cervix. She dies from cancer of the cervix. So it is not that you can't get it. Of course you can still get it, but this is what you can get. And so we are doing a campaign of pap tests. Someone is coming from university, and they're going to do that on the 6th of May. And those who would like to come, they may do so. You don't have to, but if you like to come, you can have a test and it can be done. And it's not something, or smoking is one of the causes of cancer of the cervix. Smoking is one of the cancer causes. Papillomavirus is the second cause. Papillomavirus, I told you, is not only confined to the cervix, but it goes to the skin. You ever heard about basal cell carcinoma? Basal cell cancer, no? Skin cancer? You know skin cancer? That's caused by papillomavirus. That's caused by papillomavirus. So it's not only confined to one area, you can get it in every area. This is what we have. Now we are going to go to Gita Dhyanam. Partaya pratibodhitam bhagavatam
नारायणेन स्वयं
vyasena gratitan purana muninam
मध्ये महाभारतम्
advaitavritavarshine bhagavate
अष्टादशाध्यायिने
Ava tvamanusaldadami bhagavat
गीते भवद्वेषिणी
Namostute vyasa vishala buddhe
पुलारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्र
Yena tvaya bharata taila purna
प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीपा
Prapalla parijataya
स्तोत्रवेत्रे कपालये
Jnana mudraya krishnaya
गीता अमृत दुहे नमः
सर्वोपनिषदो गावो
दुग्धा गोपालनन्दन
पाठो वत्स सुधीर्भुक्ता
दुग्धं गीता अमृतं महत्
वसुदेवसुतं देवं
कंस चाणूरमर्दनं
देवकी परमानन्दं
कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु
भीष्माद्रोणा तथा जया दत्ता जला
गान्धारनीलोत्पला
शल्याग्रागवती कृपेण वहने
कर्णेन वेलाकुला
अश्वत्थामा विकर्णघोरमकरा
दुर्योधनावर्तिनी
श्रोतिर्न खलु पादवैरनदे
कैवर्तक केशव
पाराशर्या वचः सरोजममलम्
गीताथ गन्धोत्कटम्
नानाख्यानककेशरं हरिकथा
सम्बोधनाबोधितम्
लोके सज्जनशतपदैरहरः
पीपीयमानं मुदा
भूयद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल
प्रध्वंसिनं श्रेयसे
मूकं करोति वाचालं
पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं
यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे
परमानन्दमाधवम्
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुता
स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्ये स्तवै
वेदैः सागपरक्रमोपनिषदैः
गायन्ति यं सामगा
ध्यानाग्मस्तिरतर्गतेन मनसा
पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो
यस्यान्तं न विदुसुरासुरगणा
देवाय तस्मै नमः
Chapter 9, verse 22. I'm going to do that verse I talked about this morning. Ananyas chintayanto mam
अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां
ye jana paryupasate
ये जना पर्युपासते
teshang nityabhiyuktanam
तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां
yogakshemam vahamyaham
योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्
Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate teshang nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Bhagavan Krishna says, having no other object, Ananyas chintayantumang. Chintayantumang, chinta means concentrating upon me, focusing upon me all the time. Jana, those person paryupasate, who worship me with a focal point. In other words, their mind is completely absorbed in me. And this is what I talked about this morning, that when we do our prayers, when we do our worship, when we do our puja, we must do it in such a way that we must be focused. We must do it nicely, focusing, and do as much as you can with your mind totally absorbed. If your mind cannot be absorbed for long, then don't do it for long. You do it for the time that your mind can absorb. You will find, believe me, once you start doing that 2 minutes, you'll enjoy it so much, you'll go to 3 minutes. Then you'll go to 5 minutes. Then you'll go to 10 minutes. Then you'll go to 15 minutes. Then you'll want to be there all the time. Providing your mind or your focus must be there. Remember the shloka? Atma tvam girijamati sahachara prana shariram griham pujate vishayoga bhoga rachana nidya sabha yashtate. Atma tvam, my soul is Bhagavan Shiva, and my buddhi, that is that divine mother, I combine the two together and I concentrate upon you. And wherever I walk, wherever I go, I do pradakshina around you. I do pradakshina around you. And that is what is called prayer. Prayer is smaranam. Prayer is remembering. Remembering the Lord, just like how you remember, you have to get up and brush your teeth. It comes, as a matter of fact, similarly, the remembrance of His name has to be ruling off your lips all the time. And this is the beautiful part of it. And so He says, Teshang nitya abhiyuktana. Abhiyuktana means fixed in devotion. Nitya, always. Yoga chemam vahamyam. Yoga means requirements. Their requirements, I will take the burden of their requirements and look after them and make sure that they do not fall short of anything they need. This is the words of Bhagavan Krishna. Believe me, it will come true. And remember what Hanumanji said. Don't forget, he was thinking while he was sitting there, how can this come true? But you know, remember the Devanas dreamt, was telling Mother Sita how the monkey will come and burn down Lanka, etc., etc. And he's saying, that's impossible. Where will I get ghee? Where will I get rags? Where will I get this? When the Lord wants something to happen, when He wants it to happen, it will happen. And when He do not want it to happen, two persons, same project, same time they start, one person will be victorious, the other person will be bankrupt. Why? Because there's something called Daivam. Daivam means that which we do not think about. That is what the Lord gives to us. That's His infinite grace. We are going to Hanuman Chalisa. Then,
हमारे राम जी को राम राम
कहियो जी हनुमान
हमारे राम जी को राम राम
कहियो जी हनुमान
सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 हनुमान
ओ सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 हनुमान
राम जी को राम राम
कहियो जी हनुमान
हमारे राम जी को राम राम
कहियो जी हनुमान
Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja.
निज मन मुकुर सुधार
Oh, Bharadav Raghavara Bimala Jaso.
जो दायक बलचार
Buddhihena Tanu Janike.
सुमिरो पवन कुमार
Paramuni Vidya Deho Mohi.
हरहु कलेश विकार
हमारे राम जी को राम राम
कहियो जी हनुमान हमारे राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान
Jai Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar.
जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर
Ramaduta Yanalita Baladhama.
अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नाम
Oh, Mahavira Vikram Bajarangi.
कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी
Kalchara Parara Viraja Savesha.
आनन कुंडल कुंचित केशा
Aja Baja Arubhaja Viraja.
कांधे मूछ जनेऊ साजे
Chandara Suvarna Keshari Nandana.
तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन
Vidyavana Guniyati Chato. Rama Kaja Kariveko Ato.
हमारे राम जी को राम राम
कहियो जी हनुमान
हमारे राम जी को राम राम
कहियो जी हनुमान
Prabhu Charana Suri Beko Rasya.
राम लखन सीता मन बसिया
Sukshma Rupa Dharisiya Hidikawa.
विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा
Bhima Rupa Dhari Asura Samhare.
रामचंद्र की काज सवारे
Jai Sajivan Lakhana Jiyaye.
श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए
Raghupati Kiri Bhavata Balaye.
तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई
Sasa बदन तुम्हारो यश गावे
अस कई श्रीपति कंठ लगावे
सरकार का प्रभारी मुनीषा
नारद शारद सहित अहिषा
यम कुबेर दिक्पाल चाहते कवि को बिन कही सके कहते
हमारे
राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान हमारे राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान
प्रभु उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीरा
राम मिलाए राजपद दीना
तुम्हारो मंत्र विभीषण वाता
लंकेश्वर भई सब जग जाना
युग सहस्र योजन पर भाजो
लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानो
प्रभु मोदिका मिल मुख पाए
जल दिलांग गए अचल जनाई
दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते
सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते
राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे
होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे
जब सकल है तुम्हारे शरणा
तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना
आपन तेज समारो आपे तीनों लोक हाकते कापे
हमारे
राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान हमारे राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान
भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे
महावीर जब नाम सुनावे
आशय रोग हरै सब पीरा
जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा
संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे
मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे
सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा
जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा
और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे
सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे
चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा
है परिसिद्ध जगत उजियारा
साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे
हमारे
राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान हमारे राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान
अष्ट सिद्धि के दाता
असबर दीन जानकी माता
राम रसायन तुमरे पासा
सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा
तुमरे भजन राम को भावे
जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे
अंधकार रघुवर पुर जाए
जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई
और देवता चेतन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई
हमारे
राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान हमारे राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान
करके हनुमत पीरा
जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा
जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई
कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई
जो शत बार पद कर कोई
छूटे बंदी महासुख होई
जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा
होई सिद्धि साखी गौरी शान
तुलसीदास तुलसीदास सदा हर चेरा की जय नाथ जय बहलेरा
हमारे राम जी को राम राम
कहियो जी हनुमान हमारे राम जी को राम राम कहियो जी हनुमान सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 हनुमान सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 हनुमान सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 हनुमान
पवन तनय संकट चरण मंगल मूर्ति रो राम लखन सीता सहित जय बसौ सुरभो
सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 हनुमान सीता राम 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 सीता राम 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 सीता राम
We'll have a short bhajan before we go into meditation. It's a little early today, and then Oh, Prabhat, go ahead.
बोलिए जयकारा शेरा वालिदा
बोले
बोल
साचे दरबार की जय।
हे माँ मुझको ऐसा घर दे जिसमें तुम्हारा मंदिर हो, जो जगह दिन रैन तुम्हारी तुम मंदिर के अंदर हो। हे माँ मुझको ऐसा घर दे जिसमें तुम्हारा मंदिर हो, जो जगह दिन रैन तुम्हारी
तुम मंदिर के अंदर हो।
हे माँ, हे माँ, हे माँ,
हे माँ
बोलो रे जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ। एक कमरा हो जिसमें तुम्हारा आसन माता सजा रहे, आसन माता सजा रहे। हर पल हर क्षण भक्तों का वहाँ आना जाना लगा रहे, माँ आना जाना लगा रहे। छोटे बड़े क्या माँ इस घर में एक समान ही आदर हो, जो जगह दिन रैन तुम्हारी तुम मंदिर के अंदर हो। हे माँ, हे माँ, हे माँ,
हे माँ
बोलो रे जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ। हर एक प्राणी इस घर का माँ तेरी महिमा गाता रहे, तेरी महिमा गाता रहे। तू रखे जिस हाल में दाती हर पल शुक्र मनाता रहे, माँ हर पल शुक्र मनाता रहे। कभी न हिम्मत हारे माता, चाहे समय भयंकर हो, जो जगह दिन रैन तुम्हारी तुम मंदिर के अंदर हो। हे माँ, हे माँ, हे माँ,
हे माँ
बोलो रे जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ। बोलिए जयकारा महामाई दा बोल सच्चे दरबार की जय।
Huh?
The system is not cooperating.
Okay, okay. We're going to meditation. प्रभु जी
प्रभु जी
दया करो,
दया करो,
मन में
मन में
अदब सो,
आने बसो।
तुम बिना लागे सुना,
तुम बिना लागे सुना,
खाली घट में प्रेम भरो,
खाली घट में प्रेम भरो।
ओ प्रभु जी
ओ प्रभु जी
दया करो,
दया करो,
मन में
मन में
अरब सो,
आने बसो।
तंत्र मंत्र पूजा नहीं जानो, तंत्र
मंत्र
तुमको ही मानो
मैं तो केवल तुमको ही मानूं।
सारे जग में ढूंढा तुमको
सारे जग में ढूंढा तुमको।
अब तो आकर बहादुरो
अब तो आकर बहादुरो।
ओ प्रभु जी
ओ प्रभु जी
दया करो
दया करो
मन में
मन में
आर बसो।
आने बसो।
We do 2 pranayams and we go to silence. Do in our silence, let's talk to God. Let us submit our gratitude and our thanks to Him. And He will look after everything that we need to have. Silent meditation. Talk to God.
त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव वन्द्यनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्।
Asato ma sadagavaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya.
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय।
Mrityormaya mritamgamaya.
ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
भक्ति के दीप जलाओ,
भक्ति के दीप जलाओ।
जीवन को स्वर्ग बनाओ,
जीवन को स्वर्ग बनाओ।
धरा से पीड़ मिटाओ,
अमृत रस बरसाओ। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
जीवन को नित महकाओ,
जीवन को नित महकाओ।
सब अवगुण को बिसराओ,
सब अवगुण को बिसराओ।
हर संताप गताओ,
नारायण को हर्षाओ। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
असतो मा
सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय। मृत्योर्मामृतंगमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
ओम सहना भवतु सहरौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनापधेतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम. Rub your hands together, put it over your face, ask with all that energy to come within you, bless you, guide you, protect you. Energy of Durga Ma, Lord Shiva, etc. Today's Priti Bhoj is served by the Kisoon family celebrating her children's birthday, Nandini and Krishna, two of them. I don't see anybody up here to... No, I don't see... Where is it? Natraj?
Oh, here, sorry, here.
Nandini, come. Where you going to come up? Where you have to wait until I... Come. While she's getting up, Akshay Tritiya is on Saturday, and we are going to do puja at Saturday, April the 22nd. We are going to do puja here at about 8 o'clock in the morning. How about 8 o'clock in the morning? Not 7:30, but 8 o'clock in the morning.
बार बार दिन ये आए
बार बार दिल ये गाए तू जियो हजारों साल ये मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Nandini, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Krishna. Happy birthday to you.
So today we do Akshay Tritiya puja on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Pradosh puja is tomorrow, Monday, April the 17th. I'll be starting at 6 o'clock. April 24th, what's that? What?
Satya Sai is passing away today. Satya Sai Baba is.
It's passing every day here?
Yeah, Aradhana Divas is passing.
Oh, death anniversary. Okay. Next. Monday, April 24th, 6 p.m. Very important day. It's Jagat Guru Sankaracharya's Jayanti, which is always occurs at a very beautiful, and we should really have a murti of. It's coming. The murti is paid for, and it's coming. Shankaracharya. Jalaram Bappa Satsang on Sunday, April 30th. That's a long way from now. Run for Dialysis, we're starting that, the launch next week. Run for Dialysis program. But on Saturday coming, Law and New Conference, Saturday, April 22nd. Daman Kisoon has done a lot of work with this. I hope you all will come out for this conference. It is an auditorium downstairs. Starts at 10, I think, and finishes at 12. And it's talking about violence, domestic violence. And for children who would like to do law, there's also a possibility there. Our golf tournament is, I know it's sold out, but those who would like to sponsor a hole, etc., it's all for the dialysis. And this is done by, under the chairmanship of Mr. Daman Kisoon. Summer camp, July 10th to the 21st. We have a clinic downstairs. Today, Professor Anand is coming to see a few patients together with Dr. Bhayani, and I'll be there also. So we are going to close now, wrap up. Sitaram.
सीताराम 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 कहिए
चाहे भी राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए.
मुख में हो राम नाम राम सिंह हाथ में
तू अकेला नहीं प्यारे राम तेरे साथ है.
किसी का भी जान जाए हानि लाभ सही
चाहे विधि राखे राम ताहि
have Professor Anand with us, and I would like her to say a few words. She is doing a research project, Sanya. And of course, young Anand. Can I give her a mic that works? We have many mics, but not all work.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Nice to see you.
Can you hear her?
Yeah, we can. Well, I was trying to think of something new I can tell you because I always speak about cardiovascular risk factors, which are important, and the clinic that Dr. Dubé is starting is amazing, that people can learn about their heart disease risk factors right here in the temple. I think you probably have all heard my advice before, which is really to eat, foods cooked at home, not too much. Intermittent fasting is also good for weight loss, and get a lot of outdoor activity for you and your children. We're seeing more and more children who are on screens a lot, are developing these risk factors at a very young age. So I hope.
What are risk factors?
Risk factors are central fat, we call it central obesity, or the Canadian Tire, high cholesterol, diabetes, cigarette smoking, and high blood pressure. Those would be the main risk factors. A lot of those are caused by what we eat and how much or how little activity we do. So it's all preventable. We've learned what prevents heart disease. Cancer is a different story. We're learning more and more all the time, but we know what causes heart disease. And prevention really starts before conception. So even a woman considering pregnancy can get in optimal shape to prevent these risk factors in her offspring and children. So that's my main message today.
The study.
We do lots of studies.
No, the paper, the questionnaire today that you.
Yes. So today's questionnaire in the clinic comes from a lot of the research studies we've done, including here from the Sahara study. And essentially, we will check off all the risk factors people have, and you will learn about your risk score. It's not a research study today, but research study information can now be used in clinics. And that's an example of why research is important.
It's okay.
Thank you.
I don't know if we know how lucky we are to have Professor Anand with us. I don't think, because she comes here to our salwar and she talks, she's a professor type. Is it 4 now or 4, 5 maybe? Different types of professorship she has. She's also head of also the research and all sorts of things. And she goes all over the world to speak. She does not go as much because she is very tied at her hips to her family. So she refused to go. Like to China, she would not want to go too long because you've been to China a few times, haven't you? Yeah. So we don't know how to get an appointment to see her is not an easy thing. But she's come here because she buys into our clinic, and she's an expert on stroke, vascular disease. She has done a vascular disease PhD in Boston, a small university called Harvard. So she was there. And we do not know. You know when they take the horse to the water? He does not know how easy he gets that water there. You all do not know. I know 95% of you don't know the value of Professor Anand, who is with us today. But I know how much what a valuable asset she is to the community. And because she loves this community, she is here. As you know, her sister is the Minister of Defense. I mean, proud of both of them and their parents, of course, who they loved very much. Shri Radhe Gobil, the Bhajo Mana Shri Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Govind, the Bhajuman Shri Radhe.
Oh Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Radhe Radhe.
Shri Radhe
जय श्री राधे वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की सर्जन
सर्जन विसर्जन तुम्ही विश्व करता, तुम्ही विश्व ज्योति में हो प्राण भरता।
तुम्ही काल के काल हो शक्तिधारी, स्वीकारो स्वयं वंदना।
दया धर्म की मन में ज्योति जगाओ,
धर्म की मन में ज्योति जगाओ, जीवन पंथ मेरा प्रभु जगमगाओ।
हरो पाप मेरे, भरो भाव भक्ति।
मुझे नाथ दो अपनी तुम दिव्य शक्ति।
मुझे मोह माया के सागर सितारो,
मेरे काम और क्रोध को नाथ मारो।
अहंकार मेरा हरो शक्ति दाता।
अहंकार मेरा हरो शक्ति दाता।
मेरा कोटि कोटि वंदन
ओम
विधाता।
नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव। आरती।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के
संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे।
ओम जय
जगदीश हरे।
जो जावे
फल पावे दुख विन से मन का।
स्वामी दुख विनसे मन का।
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे।
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे।
कष्ट मिटे तन का।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
मात पिता तुम मेरे, शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी।
स्वामी शरण पड़ू मैं किसकी। तुम बिन और न दूजा,
प्रभु बिन और न दूजा।
पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वगुं शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बोलिए महालक्ष्मी श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय। महालक्ष्मी तिरुपति बालाजी भगवान की जय। महालक्ष्मी श्री नर